Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Footy Show, joined by Andy at El Pavotti FTBL. Twitter. It only took me like 3 weeks or something to get it right, but I've got it right. And obviously, fresh trim Pedro, just drinking his coffee, chilling out. Let's get straight into it. Copa America is in full swing, full sambered up. It's good to watch a little bit of footy because, we haven't seen it for a while, have we?
Well, some of us have,
You've been watching another one, which we'll come on to. You are our Women's World Cup expert, which we'll go on to later. Give it away.
Who'd ever thought
Who'd have said
those
that?
words would come out of anyone's mouth?
Stop talking about it.
But Andy, Copa America is here. It's underway. We are represented by a couple of players as well over there. But what have you made of it so far?
It's gone, apart from Argentina losing to Colombia, I guess it's gone the way you'd expect it to, really. Last night, Chile, the experienced Chile team, walked over Japan. Japan have got some interesting players. And then Argentina, again, the squad's not great. Again, Colombia are more cohesive. They beat them. And then Brazil, obviously, I think the obvious favourites in the tournament. They pushed aside Bolivia on Saturday.
Saturday night, yeah.
Good performance by Charleston as well.
Mm. I mean, you've loved it because what you've loved about the Copa America so far is the honesty and integrity of the players and their ability to stay on the feet.
It's fucking shite. Honest, no, I mean, what's so annoying, genuinely, about watching these players is there's so much talent, and yet a lot of them just want to spend most of the time on their arse.
If you watch South American footy, it's always like that.
No, I know, but that's the most annoying thing.
Frustrating, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's horrible.
I'm not being funny, Andy. When you're looking at Qatar for integrity, then you're on a bums.
We'll get Qatar, yeah.
No, it's just I watched the Colombia game versus Argentina, and I was honestly thought this is gonna be great. This Argentina are just fucking.
It's not a cohesive side.
So unbalanced. Yeah. It's incredible. They've got no defenders. When Funes Mori's a shining light in your
but they have though.
Is he in the squad?
No, he's not.
He's not in the
squad. They have got
is he?
players, right? But the squad that Scaloni used to play for Deportivo, the manager, it's just it's a weird squad. The Tagliafico's good. He plays for Ajax. Finally, they've solved one of the full-back situations, but they just always pick weird players.
Who was at the back? Otamendi.
Who was the other one? I'm trying to think. Right back was some lad I can't even say I've seen.
Why aren't they playing Gabriel Heinze? If Chile is still playing there,
he's a great manager. Heinze. He's
but they did. I mean, Argentina have always had good centre backs, haven't they? But lately, so like the last 4 or 5 years, that the centre backs have been like you said, when Funes Mori's playing.
I mean, let's be honest. I think a lot of it comes down to economy, doesn't it? The players probably leave the country so early now that, even things like who your role models are. If your role model's Messi, everyone suddenly wants to be an attacker. Where are the examples for that country as defenders? I mean, we grew up with people like Daniel Ayala and people like that, proper quality defenders that people would have idolised. But now you're looking at that and you're thinking, well, who's coming through? Who are the kids? Who are they looking at? They're all looking at Messi. That's one of the problems I would imagine of having what the world's greatest player is. Everyone wants to be Messi.
They've got some good young centre that. It's just they haven't been picked right. So Ajax have signed Lisandro Martinez. He is 5'10". People have got opinions about small, but he's very reminiscent of Cannavaro. Very similar type of player. He's not on the squad. You've got Marco Senesi, probably not ready for the squad yet, but he's coming. So I've got a couple of good young players. I think there's always seems to be this weird balance in Argentina where they like to pick players who play in the Argentinian league rather than just solely from Europe to keep the fans still in there.
There's a lot of politics.
There is, and Messi's politics as well.
And also there's a lot of politics within the squad. People seem to have. There seems to be a lot of cliques in the Argentinian squad.
There's a Messi camp and there's a non-Messi camp. That's what they say. Yeah,
but that's never going to work though.
But they couldn't afford for him to retire because basically they're a one-man team, and if he retired,
it's not even that though. It's not even that. It comes down to things like the kit. The
Adidas
and things like that. It comes down to so many factors about these countries. I mean, you look at a country that had a power cut the other night. Every single person in the country didn't have power. And, it is what it is. But I mean, Colombia, I suppose they were as guilty as Argentina in terms of hitting the deck. It just annoys me. You've got so much talent on the pitch, and yet players just want to look for this advantage of having a free kick, and it's like, what? All right, you've got Mina, It does help if you're throwing a set piece in towards him, but it's so frustrating when you think this is going to be a great game of football, and it just turns out to be a game that stop-start and never gets going. And
there was a lot of talent on the pitch attacking wise. Di Maria, Aguero, Messi, obviously. James as well. You're looking at people like that. Lewis Muriel, he was there, wasn't he? And
to pass it off the bench. So much. Both teams are full of attacking talent, but
is it just Colombia were better defensively?
I think they're a better team. They're just a more cohesive team. That's the Argentina's entire problem for the last. Since 2014, but even 2014, they're riding Messi again. Yeah. They haven't been a team for a long time. It's probably since I think 2006 when they beat Yugoslavia 6-0. When they Serbia, when they battered them 6-0, they were so good that day. Since then, just really poor, up and down team, and the squad selection's not been great. The managers have been. They got Sampaoli, didn't they, last for the World Cup? And his style would never work because the players never bought. It's just a mess.
You had that famous thing where he called Messi over in the World Cup and asked him what to do.
He picked the sides, but that is entirely the problem. If you favour him, we discussed on the video, you favour one player, it becomes like an issue.
It's interesting though, because I think the difference. That Argentina team just been talking about, the one from 2006, good holding midfielders.
That players,
they had Mascherano and they had what's his name? He was at Inter and then went to Leicester.
Cambiasso.
And then they had Riquelme in front of them. They had
good balance, and I suppose that's the difference maybe with the Brazil team now, and that's probably why they'll win it. There's a lot more balance to the side. You can see that, and the manager the coach is prepared to bring people like Richarlison into the side who, he's 11 caps I think he's had now.
Yeah.
He's prepared to play him because he gives good balance to the team, and they're not fazed by the fact that Neymar's not around, and there's still plenty of quality, but it's balanced within the side, and people will sit on. I mean, they played Firmino the other night, and Jesus was on the bench.
Yeah.
Argentina, they'd find a way to cram those players in.
44,
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas Brazil look like they're going, well, no, we've learned from our experiences. They've learned from, obviously, getting beat by Germany 7-1, and they're thinking, no, we need a team that's going to win. And I think that'll be the difference that wins them.
Colombia, just before we go on to Brazil again, Colombia, from their perspective, have been this team that they've always been emerging, haven't they? It always seems like they're getting there. And then if it falls away and they're getting there, is this a team, in your opinion, what you've seen and obviously knowing the players, that could go all the way in this?
They certainly could go all the way, because I think that the tournament set up for Brazil, Colombia, probably Chile, because they're so used to playing with each other.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's not really. It's South America sort of, I think, not as strong as it used to be, I guess. There's Ecuador on the way up. Their youth teams have been really good, but they're not ready quite yet to make that step up. But yeah, I think that they're the three teams. I think Colombia they've got a lot of players playing in Europe now. They've got options off the bench. Sabata came off the bench and scored a goal the other night. He scored 20 goals in Serie A last season. So they've got options, and the defence is quite good as well. You've got Arias, Davison Sanchez, I like, and obviously Mina as well. So you've got they're quite a balance, and they've got Barrios in front of them, quite a balanced side. Whereas you look at Argentina, like you said, it's like, let's play 4 up front, 4 at the back, and whatever happens in between, we'll leave to them. But yeah, and then you talk about Brazil and Tite. Tite is a very interesting coach in the fact that he's probably the first Brazilian coach who's Europeanised Brazil. He came to England, Italy, and looked at the processes and how they wanted to change it. And that's what Brazil's changed. Brazil's now producing more European-style players than ever. Used to have the samba flair and all. You don't really have that anymore. It's a lot of proper wingers.
That's sad for me, though.
Yeah, it's sad. I first World Cup was the '94 World Cup. They were fantastic. Even that wasn't the greatest team they had, but they're changing now. They're getting box-to-box midfielders, holding midfield. It's just completely different. Even the fullbacks can defend.
It's the market, though, isn't it? It's the market they're selling to. They understand what European clubs do and how they can move those players on. Maybe Argentina, they just haven't quite sussed that out yet. Maybe they're selling too many players to the MLS and not selling enough to Europe. But if they're getting the money, they're probably not that arsed.
Well, that's what Brazilian clubs basically live on, selling the players. A lot of them down the lower parts of the league now live on selling their star young players. And look at Everton Suarez, who plays for Cruzeiro, or I think it's Grêmio. He is 23 now. Scouts are probably suspicious because he's still 23 in the Brazilian league, and he is a good player. And he probably will move to Europe, but at 23. Yeah, he does what he does well. He comes in off the wing.
City are interested in him.
Yeah, he's a good player, but I think at 23, people probably think he should have moved on already. At that age.
Just on him, because his name's amazing.
I wouldn't say he's a top 6 player, I'm going to be honest.
No.
But I think he's a good player.
So you wouldn't trust him for Everton?
We don't need that right-footed player, but if Everton were offered him and we were going to, I would say yes, he's a good player to sign. He's going to score goals. I'd say Richarlison's a better goal-scoring winger than him.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, he's a good player.
I just like his name.
Yeah, I like the name. It'd be great marketing tool. Everton plays for Everton.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, on Richarlison, obviously, you know, he's come to Everton, got in the Brazil side off the back of playing for Everton. I know he'd played in the under-20 Brazil side and done all right for them while he was at Watford. As a Blue, it's fantastic to have a Brazilian forward playing in the national team, isn't it? And doing well.
It's a little bit scary though, isn't it?
Not right now. It will be. And the other night, that as I was saying to Baz earlier, like we've talked about him playing centrally on the wing. That's been a debate we've had before. He come in the middle, he held the ball off, passed it out, and then Firmino put it.
I think though what is comforting it is he doesn't. You look at the Brazil team like you've just been saying, and you don't feel like you have to be this absolute world beater to be in the side. And I think that will. Whereas in the past, if we'd had a Brazilian playing for us, then straight away it would have been all the big clubs would have been looking at him. But that, and I think that's the way football's also shifted, is that you're not looking at a national team and saying, well, he's in the national team, so we've got to buy him, because football has shifted, hasn't it? We, as a club, will be scouted a lot more than Brazil will as a nation.
Yeah.
So you know, it's brilliant. It looks great. I mean, even seeing the other night and having that white and blue kit on, it looks really cool. And you look at them and there's, but just on that, and we probably could do a show on our own. Why aren't Everton exploiting that? Why aren't they exploiting the fact that we've got a young lad who is playing for Brazil, who's got there through hard work, tenacity? And I was saying to you today, when you see him running after balls and he's got this head up like that, and it's pure hard work that you can see, is that's what's got him to that level.
How could we exploit that just after?
I think we should exploit it here. I'm a great believer that if you've got a player playing for Brazil or someone like that, and you've got that, there's still that aura, isn't there? I still think there's the aura. It's
the aura with Brazil.
Not as big as it used to be. I know. No. I think a lot of it for me went 2004 when they started trying to kick the shit out of people. That's what really annoyed.
Dunga's team, was it?
No, not 2004. 2000, the World Cup that was in Brazil. 14.
Yeah, that was the very Brazilian
when
team,
they were kicking shit out of
the balls
James Rodriguez and things like that. Yeah. That's when I started, and I was delighted when Germany battered them. I thought it was exciting for football. But they seem to have got it back a little bit. And I think if you've got a player playing for Brazil, I still think Brazil are seen as that marquee nation. And I think Everton should be exploiting that more, whether it's just...
In what way though? I'm asking you, what way?
In the shops. T-shirts with his face on, with the yellow T-shirts with his number 21 on the back. Whatever it takes,
make more of it.
Make more of it. I have stories on the website every single day. Everton play, he's playing this. Build it up, big it up. We've seen the stuff with the Neres. I've said to Neres, come and play for Everton. Everton should be fucking all over that for me. Not going, we can't talk about that because we're not really bothered. No, every other club would be all over it.
You should have that, because what that does is not, even if there's nothing in it, even if Neres doesn't come anywhere near Everton, and Brands might be like, you can sort him all you want, mate, we don't want him. That sends news all around the world. Everton's name linked, Neres, Everton. Exactly. The Brazilian press, every day, UOL, which is one of their big media outlets, is like, he only wants to go to Everton. Now, that's what it's gone now, the story. He wants to play with Richarlison at Everton. That's a big story.
Because all you're going to get, if he does well in this tournament, all you're going to get is stories linking him away. You had fucking Darren Tingle the other day on Talk Sport saying he was going to, Everton will probably have to let him go this summer and all this. That's what I'm saying with the outside.
Oh, it happens every year, doesn't it? As soon as you get one good player, that's Everton's best player.
The outside media will be linking him with all clubs. I'd be like, why would he go? No, like people like AC Milan.
AC Milan can't afford him.
You know what I mean? Like, why would he? Exactly, you wouldn't be able to. The thing that will might come out of this is Everton might have to give him a new contract. That's what might happen.
No issue at all.
But for me, I think Everton should be doing pieces every day. Yeah. Richarlison, Everton.
Reminding you.
Diary from Brazil,
exactly. Reminding you that there's an Everton player playing for Brazil. Turn it up, hopefully, which he'll do. He'll score. He played great the other night. Got the penalty. He'd already probably had more shots than anyone else. He was always shooting.
Involved in the second
goal of the ball he played for Firmino was absolutely
ball,
fantastic.
Lovely, yeah.
But he was I was saying before about Neves and seeing him and Neres and being, I was like, because the difference in the two players was, Richarlison, when there's a ball, even if it's a 30-70 and to lose, the head goes back and he gets in there. He was Neres was a bit like, and I didn't see that hunger that Richarlison's got. Everton, I'd be saying that's Everton. That's what we want. I think that's what, I don't think we've done enough. We've got two players there. You've got Yerry Mina playing for Colombia. Got to be one of the three favourites.
Yeah.
And Richarlison playing for Brazil, and you think,
well, there should have been something the next day, like Mina keeps Aguero and
Messi
quiet.
Like you just said there, why haven't Everton got someone over there, right? Going from camp to camp, or employing somebody over there. The Echo have got a lad, and it's funny, the lad they've got sat next to me last year when I did the Brazil game, when I went to Anfield to watch it, and the kid sat next to me. He works for ESPN or somewhere, he'd be a freelancer. So the Echo obviously are paying him to do reports for them on the game, because they know he'll be at the game himself. I mean, you're not sending Prentice over there, are you? Let's be honest. You know what I mean? So why haven't Everton got someone over there? Being in both camps, being in the press conferences.
Could get Bernard. Why aren't they speaking to Bernard? Richarlison.
Forward thinking, we just don't think forward, do we?
No. Be at the tournament, reporting on it what else is going on? Nothing. There's nothing going on. So I have someone over there with Richarlison, got an exclusive interview. How did it feel last night? Oh, brilliant to pull on the shirt. This is down to me. Fantastic Everton and blah, blah, blah.
You'd also have a presence in Brazil, because you want to get Everton known in Brazil. Brazil's a massive media, media nation. Yeah. The other sports, MMA, do really well there in terms of merchant. Everton could sort of become Richarlison's new star of the national team, but push out, obviously, Everton shirts.
What if you had someone who works there? So you've got someone who works in the media team, and there's enough of them, and he's over there, and he's in the press conference. And he's got all his Everton gear on. And straight away you're saying...
And Richarlison knows him.
Straight away you've got someone saying, well, there's a representative from Everton. Everton are here to speak to their player, because this is an honour for Everton Football Club to have a player playing for Brazil. First ever Everton player to play for Brazil while at the club. We're cherishing this, so we're having something... Again...
Just different.
We're all on holiday, lads. There's no one to cover it for us.
No one can do it.
Is anyone, if he scored a goal, or he does something, is there going to be anyone at Everton to pick up the phone? Because there wasn't when Tim Howard saved 14 shots against Belgium. There's no one on the phone. There's no one there. I just think these are things that we miss out on, and I think that we should be.
Other clubs wouldn't they? But Brazil, are they the favourites for you?
Yeah, I'd say they're favourites. They'd probably be the favourites. I'm interested to see how Qatar do, obviously roasting the World Cup. They're a strangely interesting side. They've got Felix Sanchez, who's the manager. He was the youth coach when PK, Iniesta, Xavi, Cesc Fabregas, all of them came through the Barcelona system. And then what they've done is, because obviously they've got unlimited amounts of money in Qatar, they set up an academy called the Aspire Academy, where they have all the Barcelona coaches there training them day and night, where Henry Onyekor, who came from. Yeah. And they've got the club UPenn in Belgium, where they send them all once they're finished, and then they sell them on. But they're an interesting side. They've been improving. The under-20s team did quite well a couple of years ago. So obviously you can't have an embarrassing team as your home nation. So they're they're obviously trying to better themselves. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on.
Are they all?
As far as I'm aware, apart from maybe one, I think they are, because they have been trying. What they did is they identified teenage years of 2 or 3 years where they try and produce players who'd be 24, 25 by the time the World Cup came round. And I suppose they've got enough. They've put the facilities in Aspire. I've got Vitor De Salvo's there, who used to be Alex Ferguson's #1 coach at Manchester United. They've ploughed the most money to get this. So even if they get beat in the group stage, they've had a go at it.
I watched them against Paraguay the other night.
Nice team,
they were 2-0. They were all right, actually. I was quite impressed.
Playing nice football, yeah.
They
got a draw.
Champions, aren't they?
First goal.
Ali
won
the Asian Cup, didn't he?
Yeah. The first goal by Ali was a good goal as well.
They got 2-0 down, got it back to 2-2.
In the old days, they used to go and nationalise the old Belgian Bulgarian weightlifters and all that. No, so they could win gold medals. I wasn't sure if they'd done that with the football.
No, I think they would. I think people assume they take the Brazilians there. They have got an Aspire Academy in Africa, but they haven't as of yet, nationalised into Qatar. So mostly they play for Senegal and Nigeria on Yokoru's case. But yeah, they are trying different. It is interesting to see them. It is a bit weird them playing the Copa America. Japan as well. Japan have got some nice players. The Japanese Messi played last night. Takafuso Kubo. Yeah.
Do you think? I think personally they should. The Gold Cup's on at the moment, and no one gives it. No one could.
Should amalgamate the two of them.
It's just shite. It's just shite. And they should just bring them in.
The America's Cup, yeah.
Well,
it could just stay. Well, that's what it is.
I remember 4 or 5 years ago when the Yanks had a decent side.
Yeah.
And the Yanks, the people in the American journalists, and because a lot of them have been bloggers and stuff, and because they're Americans, let's get it right. And I'm not having a go at it, but a lot of Americans think they've got the best country in the world and everything. So when they were winning trophy, like I said, they won the Gold Cup and everything, or when things were going well and doing well in the World Cup, I remember saying, you need to play at a better standard. Otherwise, you'll just start doing... Because you see a lot of this, don't you? Certainly in South America, you get a great crop of players, and it does well for maybe a spell. And then when that crop's gone, you might get another crop for a while, which is obviously what happened with America, because the crop they got now, very, very young, very, very inexperienced.
Some good players, yeah.
Some good players, but very, very young.
Yeah, it's time.
But they need to be challenging themselves, don't they? Because what's the point of playing Honduras and Canada and Jamaica and then playing Mexico in the final and either beating Mexico when they've got a good team or getting beat by Mexico?
Yeah, it's the option, yeah.
Get in that Copa America every year. They'll be made up, the South American team, because you're bringing the North American money with you.
Yeah.
If you hold it in America like it has been the last couple of times, you're filling the pockets, TV.
Well, they're interested in football now, aren't they? So, and you bring, Neymar's fit or whoever, Messi to America, because they want the World Cup again, don't they? And they lost that. So it's the right time now for America. So if you that would be, and they probably will be in the World Cup.
But I think there was an arrogance amongst some people in America that they didn't. Well, no. It was like, well, we don't want to go down there because we might be embarrassed a little bit. We're all right up here, thinking
it was just like winning the Gold Cup against.
It was like Australia, wasn't it? Australia used to absolutely annihilate everyone in the qualifying, and then they'd have to go to play that South American team, and they couldn't. And then they've moved to Asia now, and they still qualify because the standards better. Playing Japan, playing whoever else, it works for them. So yeah, you're probably right in terms of trying to challenge those young players like Tyler Adams, Winston McKennie. These players need to be challenged.
Anthony Robinson, of
course, yeah, and
all. He's not in the Gold Cup though, is he?
Did he not take?
No, they didn't take him.
He played the other week.
They've got a new manager, so it's the trying squads. A lot of the young lads. A lot of the young lads have gone to the under-20s. They did quite well in America, to be fair. They've got some really good players, but yeah, they're on the way up. So as you said, yeah, they probably.
Well, you've got it. You're never gonna. Like we were saying off camera before about PSG, is that if your level is here, and you're doing all right there, and then the next minute you have to step up in a World Cup to this level, you've got no chance. Yeah. Whereas if you actually bridge that by playing halfway in the Copa America,
you challenge them. Yeah. But even if you never win it, you're still trying to achieve.
You're improving all the time.
But I think probably what they looked at is maybe, we don't want to get embarrassed by these countries. It's like,
I think they would.
You wouldn't get embarrassed for a start, and plus, if your players are playing better up, I mean,
remember when he beat them 3-2 in 14 or 13?
But I remember a couple of years, it was about 3 years ago now, and they won the Gold Cup, and they made a fucking song and dance about it. And it was like, look at the teams you've just played. You played nobody. You've had to play Mexico, and yet you beat them. And they went to and then they ended up going to the, what was the one called? The tournament you saw.
CONCACAF.
Yeah, no, what's it called? The tournament we played.
The gold, not the Confederations Cup.
Confederations Cup, and then they do well in the Confederations Cup. Come on, mind read.
I know, sorry. Well, that was when when I was saying they had a big win over Brazil. They beat them 3-2 in the Confederations Cup in 13, wasn't it, the year before?
I think that's something they should be looking to do, because I think everyone had won it. I think it just adds something to that Copa America if you've got an American team.
And Mexico as well. Mexico, good side as well.
You could get that group of teams that play in a Gold Cup, put them all in, get them all in and go.
Panama, they're all right teams.
We go. Make it a proper
big tournament.
The problem you've got, like you were saying before, the problem you've got is you've got too many nations there who have a cycle. They have a good team, and then it lasts for a couple of years, and then look at Paraguay. Paraguay in the last World Cup it was the World Cup or the World Cup before. They had a really good collection of players, and then they get Chile now. Chile fucking hell, the average age is 307. Yeah, but
They're still hanging on to them.
But they'll get to us.
I'm surprised Salas isn't playing still.
They've burnt them all out, though. Look at Sanchez. He played like 5 summers in a row constantly, and he's burnt them out.
Uruguay will be the same, though. Will they have... nobody knows will they'll have a... You probably know. Whether they'll have a because...
Well, they've got Suarez, they've got Maxi Gomez
coming through, but I wouldn't say the number of... They haven't got 11 coming through, because that's the key. A lot of these teams...
But if you look at Uruguay, you've got Suarez and Cavani. Well, Suarez is 32, nearly 33. Cavani's similar, isn't he? Under that, you've got Maxi Gomez, who's 22.
But I'm surprised Forlan's not on the bench.
Yeah, Forlan in there as well. And,
But that's what happens in South America, as you say, though. They hold on, these players play along, like, remember Valderrama was still kicking around for Colombia at one time, like 37, 38, But they are, I think... Colombia's certainly got some good young players, but they don't produce, as you say, those full squad. Brazil always will do, forever and always, and Argentina will as well. But the other teams, as you say, it is cycles of players. And Uruguay and Chile are probably going to fall off, because it is hard to produce every generation 2 or 3 world-class players, The
interesting thing you just said there, though, about Australia is, though, if you do that, we've seen New Zealand then get to the World Cup, because then they've got the next one on the chance. There wasn't a dominating team. There wasn't a hugely dominating side.
That's Papua New Guinea next, isn't it, or something like that?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I've put money on them for 2030. No, but if you've got, then maybe if, say, America and Mexico move to the Copa America, then maybe you might see the emergence of Canada, who should be...
Well, their professional league started up 2 months ago, didn't it? The first ever professional league.
They've got a couple of right players as well now. Alfonso Davies.
How have they got a professional league?
They got 10, 12 teams. It started.
I think
it's a proper thing.
I think because which the team, Toronto, what are they called? And
Toronto, you've got Toronto FC.
Right, so
Montreal Impact.
So their popularity, they want to feed. Same with the what's the NLAS? I can't remember the name.
NASL.
Yeah, they become more popular these days.
Well, they USL now,
USL, yeah. And they're sort of becoming like leagues under, because I think they want to have an English tier system.
Well, they do, don't they? I mean, I remember, again, I've been like covering sort of American football for a while, talking to a lot of people out there about it, and I remember when it used to be the idea of relegation.
Remember the MLS show?
I remember, that was very good. No, but the idea of
back with you, innit?
The idea of relegation and promotion used to be just like, behave yourself. And there's a guy on Twitter named Ted, right? And he used to be ridiculed because he's like a massive thing about it, wanted it for years. And people used to just, like, all the mainstream media, because they all knew each other again, because they're all bloggers and stuff and they've gone through, they used to laugh at this fella. But now you're starting to see this, like a real culture change of people going, we're not, because I think they've seen that, yes, you've got MLS and that's great and it's now giving football, but because the national side is sort of just stagnating a little bit and you're not getting players coming through, and maybe when they move abroad, because they're either going now, aren't they? They're going when they're like 14, or they're not going at all. We're not bringing players in from America.
It's still hard to sign players from the MLS.
You've got the odd one, like obviously you've got Alfonso Davies, who's Canadian, who's at Bayern Munich, but
he's only young.
He's
like young. You're not. What I'm saying is, we're not bringing in. Are we like Clint Dempsey's, Tim Howard's?
No, they usually go to Germany at 16, 17, and stay in the academy for a couple of years, then come on. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's not many now.
I think there's now a groundswell of people saying we need to connect all the dots now. We need a football pyramid. We need the MLS, we need USL, we need whoever else, and we need a pyramid.
I think what's improved...
So there's real jeopardy.
No, there is. I think what's improved slightly has been the change in contracts as well. For the TAM has helped, hasn't it? The targeted allocation money's helped with giving younger players those contracts. Something we spoke about when they had like the Adidas contract, the next gen contracts, because we covered this on MLS show, didn't we? Is that if you're a kid at like 17, you love soccer, and it's coming up to like moving to college, university, and you'd like that to your mum and dad, I want to play for Orlando City for argument's sake, and they're like, yeah, but if you go to college on a scholarship, you become a doctor or something, and what are these paying you? Well, I can get $10,000 a season. Well, if you go there, you can get 40.
You can still play football in college.
Exactly. There was no thing, but now they're starting to try to give those younger kids an option. Come to us and you can get $200,000 a season playing for us. That because if you're losing a lot of kids to college soccer, so to speak, their eyes are on other prizes, aren't they? And
I think they were originally the model for the MLS. You probably know this better than me. Was like the NFL and all that. But now the players are going to the academies instead of going to college. That super draft's becoming a bit nutty. It's not as you're not getting any. So it's becoming. They want to see the Europe because the people are watching the Champions League on NBC or whatever it is, and they want that sort of model of the European style game, and that's what will eventually.
They're also, like we've just said, they're losing a lot of talent to Europe.
Yeah,
quite young. So the talent isn't going into MLS. So they're going down to South America, picking up players from there. Who they are enriching the league. Don't get me wrong. That's why Atlanta did so well last year. But for the national team, the gap hasn't been closed between all those old like everyone's talking about cycles. That cycle of players, your Clint Dempsey's, your Landon Donovan's, your Tim Howard's. They had loads of players.
Tim Ream, what are you on about?
Tim Ream, fucking hell, mate. He was the worst defender I've ever
Jeff
seen.
Cameron.
Jeff, and he's a prick. He can fuck off. That's absolute Tory wanker. He is. Fucking Trump lover.
There's loads though, wasn't there? We had like Casey Keller and everyone.
There's quite Max Moore. We had
but there was a big.
No, there was, but that's what I'm saying.
Influx.
The cycle. There's no gap. There's been a massive gap. So you've got Weir's lad who's about to leave PSG, isn't he? So he's going from there.
Yeah.
He's gone to Lille,
He's a fine football. You've got lads in Germany. You've got
Tyler Adams, McKennie, Sargent.
Young lad, Sargent, yeah.
Soto.
He's the most ginger kid you've ever seen in your life.
Got Pomykal, who's they got some good players who are still in America.
But the problem is that the Pulisic is the only one. He's the captain. He's 23, and he's the only one who you've seen him play on the big, big stage. The rest of them are all kids, and there's no gap. The gap's huge, and just
Tyler Adams is good though.
Very good, yeah.
So they need to fill.
Well, they have Matt Mazaga, didn't he? Who
went picked the wrong team.
Went to Chelsea, which he should never have done, and when he was at Red Bulls, doing well at 20. So they have had some good players. I mean, there's a kid at Atlanta. I'm not going to remember his name now. He's got red hair.
Atlanta.
Well, Atlanta.
He's only
terrible time.
He's only 17, 18, but he's a good player.
50.
It might come back to him. He's a good, but he's one who they're putting the hopes on, saying he looks like he's good. But you're right. There's that big gap now where Pulisic is almost the elder statesman at 22 or whatever because he's got a big move, and then underneath it there is potential, like
But I think that's the problem. Though, going back, saying when the next lot of players who should be the 26, 27-year-olds, they weren't getting tested. They were playing in things like the Gold Cup and weren't getting tested. That was always the likes of the Gold Cup was the breeding ground supposed to be for the next generation. They'd always give a lot of the top players that off and say, well, know what, we'll use this as a development tool. But you were playing against crap. Whereas if you want to send a development team, send it down to the Copa America. They'll find out what real football is.
Yeah, they'll learn.
And that's what I think.
Well, you'd improve people like Dom Dwyer, who's gonna rep. No, but if he went to what I'm saying is, he's 28, isn't he? If he went to Copa America, though, he's representing the United States. He wants to play in a World Cup, allegedly. Well, that's the level.
He's a red. I hope his leg falls off.
But just in general, in terms of football, soccer. That's what you'd have to do.
KC sold them at the right time.
They did, yeah.
Rwanda were absolutely suckered into.
All right, so Brazil are going to win it.
I think so. The depth of talent and the actual players, yeah. Even without Neymar, they've still got a great squad.
Do you think Brazil will win it? Or do you think Colombia might?
Do you know what? I think Colombia might just cause a few headaches. I'm not saying
they will too. They've got a good enough side to cause Brazil headaches. Brazil is still not perfect. We've seen the last two World Cups. They've not been perfect.
You don't win any tournament from your first game, no. France showed that last year. It's a progression. You get out your group and you start playing. Players start playing together more regularly, and you peak at the final. You hope you peak at the final, don't you? That's the whole point of the tournament.
Bolivia are alright side. When they play at home, obviously it's 10,000 people. People struggle, but other than that, they never play well away from. So that's not the test. They've got bigger tests to come. But I think Brazil are the team to beat. And I think it's probably Tite. He has been a good coach because he has modernised everything. But he probably needs to win the Copa America. He probably needs to win the Copa America, and then
that'll buy him time as well.
Yeah, and then they'll go on to the next World Cup. That's probably obviously the plan for them. Yeah,
ready to go. Onto the under-21 European Championships is underway. I watched Germany last night, but I watched Italy and Spain on Sunday night, which I thought was an excellent game. Thought Italy were brilliant. Spain were very good in possession, but Italy,
got nothing up front. Spain.
That's it. fell away, didn't it, in that final day? But what have you made of the
It's interesting that,
so
obviously France and England play tonight. That's probably a big subject. But then, last night,
or
Germany...
it might have played last night, depending on when this video goes off.
Apologise, So, Germany played Denmark. Denmark didn't pick the best side. I had issues with that. But Germany as a team collectively...
Yeah.
Well, no, because every manager makes the choices, but he's got, like, quality on the bench. He's picking his probably players he likes, whatever. But Germany as a team collectively in the way they play are a really good cohesive unit. I like the forward, Waldschmidt. He's a really good player. Like, he's not your natural centre forward. He likes to drop into space, create things. And they've just got a really good midfield. They've got Arne Meyer. They've got Amiri on the bench. The centre out. The players you'll know, but they're not stars. They're not a team of stars. When you look at it, they've got Chiesa, Keane, Barella. They've got all these players who are just fantastic. Germany more of a team oriented, but then you've got, I'd say the 4 teams to watch are probably France, obviously because they've got all that talent and depth, Italy because the squad's so good, England's good squad, and then Germany because they're such a cohesive side.
I'm just disappointed Sandro's not in it.
It was a good time when we watched Sandro up front on his own, and we thought
he was promising. We all thought we were onto something there,
we
but
did.
Even I made that mistake. To be fair, at the time you thought it looks good for Malaga, and then you learn lessons from it. We all learn lessons.
He's obviously a decent footballer, but it just hasn't worked out, has it?
I think we've killed his confidence as well for good.
We have destroyed him. I mean, he hit the all-time low when he kicked the pitch.
We moved the earth, didn't we? Yeah.
He literally did.
I don't know. I thought it was the all-time low when he was turning up to matches in Deltas.
In Delta taxis. That's never going to work.
Literally just give him one number to ring and that was it. You know what I mean?
Ring this one, it will get you to Goodison.
I don't know if you wanted, obviously England played last night, tonight, whatever you wouldn't look at it. Obviously the rumour is that Solanke's going to start over Dom, which obviously I know a lot of Evertonians are kicking off about this. I understand why Solanke's playing. I'm not saying he's better than Dom. He's just a different type of striker. Better with the ball at his feet and he's more composed. Obviously, you have to solve it more problems with France because they're going to obviously close you down more. England don't play the way Everton do, so I don't know. From a different perspective, obviously everyone knows my perspective. Do you still think Dom should start, or do you think Abraham should start?
I think Solanke is a midfield player. I've said it before. He doesn't get into enough goal-scoring positions to be a centre forward. Dom doesn't, and yet he makes Dom look like look like Alan Shearer or someone or Gary Lineker.
I'm surprised just by the fact that Dom has done very well for England.
It's just I think it's this. Well, so's Solanke, to be fair. He scored similar amount of goals and similar amount of games. I think it's just a style thing. I think we play obviously we get the ball to Tom, we feed off him fast. England's a more 4-3-3 possession based. They want people who can get out of tight areas. And I think that's why Abraham's probably not playing as well. He probably is the goal scorer of the three. And he doesn't offer as much on the ball as the other two. So I think that's just a style. There's rumours Kenny was going to play as well over
Wan-Bissaka.
That's not happening. I think Wan-Bissaka will play. But I understand again, if you're going to play Dom, Wan-Bissaka is not a great cross to the ball. You play Kenny, who is a good cross to the ball. It's a stylistic fit. I know, obviously, most 9 times out of 10, you go your best player plays, but I think that's what the England are looking to do, really. And France are a strong side. Got Dembele up front, Mateta, who Everton were linked with recently. There's really good.
Who would you say for you are the favourites in that?
I'd say Italy. Like Chiesa is fantastic, and the defenders, Mancini's also been linked with Everton's plays there, but they don't need name defenders. The defensive Italians, they're just so good anyway. It's what's ahead of them, the midfield. They've got Tonali on the bench, who's fantastic. They've got players on the bench who could make most other nations. They're such a good side, and obviously Chiesa and Keane up front, they're going to be devastating.
What do you make of Moise Keane? He's been linked with Everton again.
I've watched a lot of him for Juve last season. He's fantastic. He scored 4 and 6 starts, scored another 2 off the bench. Big, strong, fast. He can. Don't be wrong. He's not a complete player. He's still a bit raw, still a bit erratic. He can be still erratic, but a lot of talents. Everton are not going to get him. I'm going to be honest. Juve would be crazy. But does he want to? Is he? He's had a horrible time in Italy with the idiot fans. Is he going to stick around for that? England's not obviously not perfect, but much better, much more accommodating the players. Is that somebody you'd look to move? I don't know.
I can't think of him without thinking of Celtic's dream team managerial 2. Moise Keane. Every time I hear his name, I just think it's the dream team.
It's the dream team. I mean, what you've seen of him, I've seen him. We've done this on the Footy Show when he was having the issues and people were saying he caused them, which was bizarre. But
stop being black.
It's your fault.
Idiots, yeah.
In terms of Moise Keane and Everton, Is he the type of striker who you think would fit in at Everton, the way Everton play? Or...
Yeah, yes, he would. He scores goals. He runs. He runs half of the team. He can play. He can get into the channel and work the ball there. Pressing, Juve don't have to do much pressing. The Italian league's not a pressing league. It's a different type. It'd be adaptation. When you're coming from, especially he's an Italian player. When you're coming over to England, it is tough. People wouldn't. He's not a typical Italian player in the sense the way he plays. He's a bit of a different type. But it's tough. Like I don't like to, even with like Chiesa, he's fantastic. I'd still be wary of him coming to the Premier League because it's such a different thing.
I don't think he'll last at Juventus because I just think that the way a club like Juventus works is
you've
already heard talking about Ronaldo wanting to bring certain players in,
Marcelo and people like that,
swapping getting Tingo from Inter, Icardi in. They want to swap him for the other lad,
Dybala.
Dybala. Things like that. You just think there are many of those big football clubs
operating.
They operate in a different way that overlooks people like that they've already got. You can when you talk about Chelsea and talk about Kurt Zuma, and people say, "Oh, they might want to keep him." Well, why would they win? They could go and get Koulibaly, and suddenly they're making headlines by bringing in Koulibaly. They could go and buy a player who's not better than Kurt Zuma, but the fact that they buy him and they spend the money creates hype, which plays into everything that they are. That's how some football clubs work. It's sad, but unfortunately we see it all the time where homegrown players get overlooked. We see it in this country, don't we, all the time? Yeah. Homegrown players get overlooked because everyone wants the new shiny thing or beat someone else to the new shiny thing.
It's also they see the faults because they see them every day. If you ever play and train every day, you see the faults more than you see someone. You see them like you go to watch 2-3 games. You know what I mean? The manager you see, so it's easy to not fall out of love with players that you see every day. They know this, as you say, this new shiny thing. And the problem with Juventus is they're one of the weirdest clubs there. Its stock market price fluctuates every single day, no matter what they do. Yeah. So with the Ronaldo signing, that was totally predicated on them winning the Champions League and also the stock price. And yeah, maybe Moise Kean will be left behind. They certainly do sell a lot of young players, and I think with Sarri coming, I think they probably will. He'll probably stay for at least this season anyway. But maybe in the future, I don't know. They were looking at signing Chiesa, but as an option. But I don't think the Fiorentina have just changed owners. They probably won't sell. They probably won't sell, especially to Juventus, because that's a bit of a sore subject anyway. But yeah, they wouldn't do that because I think Juventus are not liked by other Italian sides because how far ahead they are. So, but yeah,
and the fact that the
cheating, yeah.
The league, so that they want.
Calciopoli, yeah.
That doesn't sit well with some people, that kind of thing.
No. On to this is you being the expert here. It's amazing. Oh. This is great. On to the women.
Expert being the only person who's watched it.
Yeah,
I watched a bit of it.
We've watched some of it.
I've watched a bit of it, lads. Come on, don't call me a chauvinist pig. Come on now.
It's nothing to do with that. What's on?
What's the chauvinist pig, lad?
Women's World Cup is in full swing.
Oh, I'm loving it.
So yeah, tell us about it. What do you find
interesting? Cup with women.
Amazing.
No, but I mean that's the thing I've sort of found it. I've sort of put my.
Were you surprised by the fact that women were in it?
No.
The fact you just said it's a World Cup with women.
I took that from the title. It's like when I went to watch ET. I just knew
he was going to be extraterrestrial.
Wasn't extra time though.
No. Do you know what? It's weird, isn't it? Because I think football is one of the only sports that we worry about what the sexes of the game of the players. Because if I'm watching like the Olympics, I'm not gonna go if it's 100 meter. There's 100 meters. I'm not gonna go. Well, these are women. I'm turning it off. And even if someone said to me, "Yeah, but they're not as fast."
Doesn't matter,
as the men, you're still going to watch it because at the end of the day, they're having a competition against each other, not against the men. And I've found that's the argument for not watching the women's World Cup is people will go, it's not as good. Well, no, it's not. It's not as good, but they're not having to play against other men. So therefore, it balances itself out. Obviously,
it's just different, isn't it? It's not. It can't be. It's not going to be the same. It's different. That's as we discussed before. Technically, women are really good. Might not be as fast or as fast paced, but technically wise,
I think that's been one of the issues. Another issue is you don't know the players.
True.
So you don't go, and I'm going to switch this on because I know this player's going to play. But it doesn't take really long to understand because the big players, the commentators are talking about them all the time. It's not really too hard to understand who the big nations are. The USA, England are getting a lot better. France are certainly good. And what I found from it is there's a lot of there's not a lot of the nonsense. I'm talking about the Copa America. I watched the game and then in the Women's World Cup, and then I watched the Colombia-Argentina game, and I was just, as soon as that game come on and seen all the diving, I was just like, fucking hell. I've just watched the game for 19 minutes, which was a good, solid game where people were getting stuck in. No one was diving. There was, when they're going in for things and it was a foul, it was a foul. So when they're hitting each other at full whack, it's a foul. And it's been refreshing. All right, never gonna get fully into it, never gonna be converted and be like, I want to watch this rather than men's football. But while it's on and it's its own thing, I think it's definitely worth exploring. It's got its problems, but I think what's important is that people don't go, well, it's got its problems, so therefore don't watch it, or it's got its problems and we can't talk about it. There are obvious problems in it, but it's only going to get better if we talk about that. One of them clearly is the goalkeeper. I was
going to say, what I've seen, the goalies are not great. They look like a cross between Steve Simmons and Paul Gerrard at times. And it's
I think a major factor. And
some of the errors they make.
I think there's two major factors, and I believe, again, I'm not an expert, but of the three of us, I clearly seem to be the expert. One of the problems is obviously the height of goalkeepers. I don't I would have just literally gone, you're big, go and goal for some, like when they're younger, honestly, because some of them are really small and they're playing in full-size goals. And I know this is something that's been debated, whether the women game should adopt smaller goals. Now, some people have gone, no, you can't do that, that's sexist. But some women have actually wrote about it and said, well, hang on, we changed the rules for kids, so kids weren't playing on full-size goals. So maybe we have to adopt a similar ethos going forward.
Physiology
exactly.
tells you that, doesn't it?
I can't sit here and say that's a key problem, but I have watched some goalkeepers who have been absolutely horrific. And another thing that's been cited as well is that a lot of goalkeepers haven't been getting professional coaching, because a lot of nations, apparently Argentina, their women have a daily budget of £8. Their players.
And they go lose one of the better ones, Korea. Yeah, she was great.
And they're going up against players, like certainly for America and England, who are getting America have been getting it for 20 odd years, but England are getting it now. In the best of the best. Phil Neville went in and insisted on it. He was like, first thing he did, they flew to a tournament in America and they were flying economy. And he went, whoa. No, we're going first class like our men would be. And he's changed those little things because England can afford it. It's professionalised, whereas some countries can't. So if they can't afford little luxuries, then they're not going to maybe afford proper goalkeeper coaching and things like that. So there's definitely things that need to change in it, but they're only going to change, I think, by the game moving on. And for me, this looks like the first proper, I would say, professional tournament where it looks, certainly by how it's been made, as good as a men's World Cup in terms of marketing, kits. I mean, Nike and Adidas have done every team, a lot of the teams have got their own kits, so they're different from the men's. So I'm straight away that creates different, if a kit fits better, if the shorts fit, if if men and women's bodies are different. So all those little things I think have come into this World Cup and have made it a lot more visible. TV companies are pushing it a little bit more because they understand now there's a need to, and I think it's just more visible and it looks more professional. And I think some of the games I've watched certainly have been a very competitive, high standard. Okay, they're not as fast, and you might not have players who've got all the tricks, and you still see that. When you watch a kids game like under 23s and you see that naivety and you go,
yeah, it's still a bit of that.
Those stupid little things like, why aren't you going to the corner with the ball? You still see little things like that. But that's maybe because those things just haven't drifted into the women's game. It's
time though, isn't it? Like, I wasn't around, you weren't around, no one was around when football was 30 years old. Or 40, I don't know, I'm not too sure about women. I'm guessing 30, 40 years old, but as a sort of more professionalised, semi-professional game. But it takes time for things to catch up. So, you know, they may not have to change the size of the goals, and in 20 years, with all the experience and the coaching, they'll be ready to play in full-size goals. I suppose that there's two ways of looking at it. You change it now for the better in the sense that it's going to make it more fair if the goals are smaller, or you persist with it and you iron out the problems, because they're going to become better and less naive the longer they play. You know, they're going to pick up, there'll be more they get men's game and mirror the women's game, and also there'll be differences, but they'll mirror each other in certain ways as well.
But you also made, when we were just talking before, you made a good point about the entertainment value of it. There's guaranteed goals.
Exactly,
in all of
so you
these
get
games,
5-4, 5-6. You know, I know America beat Thailand 13-0. That's unfortunate. I know you don't want that in a World Cup, but it's a big headline, yeah.
But on the same night, Germany won a qualifier 8-0 or 8-1. A European the men's team won a European. So I don't think someone said, you know, when it started, there is a big disparity between some of the teams.
But they need to play to get catch up.
But they need to play because there aren't that many nations actually playing
rugby, rugby was the same, wasn't it?
Seen Argentina, people moaning about the American women's team celebrating from winning that 13-0. Why are they still celebrating when they scored the 10th and the 11th goal? They should be. Because it's disrespectful. If they'd have gone...
That's an American thing, though. They don't like run up the score. That's a thing in their own sport.
For me, I think
you're weird about that.
It was like Man City beat Watford in the cup final. People were like, they should have stopped.
Well, hang on.
Hang on.
I think we're talking about two different things, maybe. No, I don't think anyone actually said they shouldn't have stopped scoring. People were saying they should have stopped celebrating.
You mean like Germany did it against Brazil?
So no one came out and said, I seen there's a brilliant clip. It was on Canadian TV. I know they were all fucking like fuming about it. And I heard some of the English ones on ours as well. I don't think anyone was saying they should have stopped scoring. What they were saying was they were getting like they scored like their 11th and 10th goal and still doing really over the top celebrating.
Good.
No,
I'm scored in the World Cup.
I'm not going to criticise them for that. I think that's what the criticism was, though, that they were saying the Yanks knew they were head and shoulders better than this team they were playing against, and they were maybe just going a little bit over the top when they were getting there. Maybe it should have been once they called like the 7th or something, it should have been delighted, but they were like proper elaborate celebrations though.
But that's what's been lost from what's been lost from men's football, because the celebrations all got like, you know, the yellow cards and all, you know. There's no memory in right. You used to just roll around on the floor when you score. You can't even do that anymore. It's like maybe you need a different aspect in the women's game.
I'm not criticizing.
No, I agree. I'm
not criticizing. I was just pointing out the fact that I don't think anyone actually said.
I just seen things on Twitter and how do you feel about this and why are they celebrating and this, that and the other, and there should have been a respect and maybe they should have just kept the ball. I've seen this in a couple of American things.
I'd never advocate that.
Hammer them as much as you can.
Goal difference in the group, innit?
Celebrate as much as you can. Because there was women there. I seen a lovely thing of a mum and dad in the crowd and the daughter scored the first goal. She had scored the World Cup. I think it was like to make it 10-0 or something, and they were like, they couldn't believe it.
They may never play another World Cup game,
yeah. But then I seen the Thailand play yesterday again, or they scored the first goal. They got beat 5-1 against Sweden. And they were 4-0 down, scored. Yeah, and the celebration, the coach, they were crying because it meant that, man. It's and at the end of the day, ever.
Those clubs and those nations they're not going to lean anything by someone taking it easy on them. No, the respect's not there. But I just think it was slightly. People were just saying. Enough, but I think people were just saying the celebrations might have been over the top, might have just been left a little sour taste. Again, it's funny, isn't it?
Then maybe they should have snapped them after they started doing it after 9.
But that's the difference, though, isn't it? That's the difference. It is a different. It's the same sport, but it's coming in from a different angle. Yeah. And maybe people, we as men sitting around going, keep going. Women might be like, well, we're all in this together. We're trying to make this a better sport, and you're leaving.
It doesn't have to be the same, does it, as men's? You know,
that's what I'm saying.
It can be something different. You can. It may be the same sport basically, but you can have a completely different ethos to the game.
But I'll tell you what has been big in it though. VAR has been.
I was going to say, what about
the goalie with half a foot off a line?
I do think that I know we've seen. To be honest, it's not.
Was that the right decision?
It's not the VAR. It's the change in the rules, and I think this is the first tournament that we've seen a little bit of it in the Nations League finals.
Yeah.
I think this is the first tournament that we're starting to see these new rules implemented. So,
like the handball.
So one of the big things is the handball, which we've seen in other things. The other thing is the goalkeeper. We've seen this, the Nigeria goal, France versus Nigeria. So the girl, big centre back for France, Wendy, can't remember her name. But she does look like Van Dijk. And on the corners, fucking hell,
Wins
she's
every
superb
header.
in the air. Takes a penalty, puts it wide. It though had been given VAR. The penalty had been given. It was a penalty, and then so they look at it. The girl's foot must have been off the line by about that much.
Yeah.
And that's the moment where you go,
It's too much.
is that going too far?
Well, the referee said to her, you've got to have 1 foot on the line. So she went, okay. The problem I had with it, she was off the line, but France had 2 players almost level with the kicker at the time of kicking it. So they encroached in the area.
But there's no way.
For the goal. So it should have been disallowed for the goal.
But you can't start ruling out goal and using VAR because a football player's got the foot over the line behind the fair enough, that they're not changing the outcome of games. People might argue that it might do, but it's not.
No.
Penalties, offsides, handballs, I'm fine with all that. But and I think I don't know if this is real or not. I haven't really checked. But is that you can't rebound the pen anymore? Is that true? Is
No,
that
that's not
They
true.
got thrown out.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
one of the
right,
things
okay,
that
yeah.
was put in.
What I
That
don't
would have been
understand
ridiculous.
about that is, though, the girl puts it wide. It's not... She
hasn't saved it.
She hasn't saved it. And I don't see how...
Is she trying to say she'd put it off? But she
No,
wouldn't
but I don't
really,
see
because the
how-
goalie makes the move anyway.
The girl's not trying to seek an advantage.
She's-
It's like that.
Yeah.
And then the goalie was booked. She was booked
Goalie got
for it.
booked and then he got to take the
There
pen
are
again.
going to be some issues with VAR originally because, you know...
We love VAR.
I do, and it's going to take some getting used to, and they're going to have to iron out the issues because they're going to go next year, well, we can't do that again, we'll have to do this. It's going to take a couple of years before...
And again, the problem is it's not the VAR, it's the
interpretation
rules.
of it, yeah.
So I think one of the interesting changes in the rules, and it's not to do with VAR this, and I think that might benefit Everton next season, is you can now give a goal kick to someone in the area, but the opposition can't come into the area. So you're aware of this one? You're not seeing this?
No.
So you can take a goal kick now
So take
to
it
someone
short.
into the box.
So you can pass it short, essentially.
Yeah, in the box. But the opposition can't come into the box. So a defender can take the ball off the goalie in the box, pick their head up, knowing that no one can come and take the ball off them.
That is smart because you can draw people onto you early, leaving gaps up front.
City will love that.
The City will love it because then what you're going to do is you'll have John Stones or someone holding onto the ball a second. They'll all come onto them into the penalty box.
But they can't come into the box.
No, once they start.
No,
moving,
but that's what's really clever about it.
Yeah.
So it's been made because they're saying it's going to help football. It's going to help football play out the
So
back.
you can give it to me in the box.
So do you know the way in the old days?
No, but
remember
I
when
can
How
have
many
hold of
moves
it
can you have in
and
the box
can't
before you come
into
in?
it.
no one can come into it. They can.
So there's one move and then you then.
No, they just can't come in the. They're not allowed to come into
Hold
the
on.
box.
So Pickford passes it to Keane in the box.
Yeah.
Keane can
Keane
just
turn
hold that
round
literally for 10 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds,
so.
right.
Apparently so.
So what happens if he passes to someone else in the box? Is the player allowed in the box then?
No.
No, come on.
Honestly, it's got to go out the.
Give me 25 minutes, just
the
pass it
ball
on.
It can't come out the
ball's
box.
got to go out the box.
No, but what I'm saying to you is...
Say you're 1-0
No,
up though,
you
it's almost
time
like
waste.
back passing your time waste. The cat can't
There'll
be
be
right.
something.
They're winning the league next year.
They've won the league.
But it's a really interesting like move to help defence just play out from the back.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to encourage,
Yeah.
which it does make the game better instead of getting,
Because we used to have that
for
old
long
thing,
balls
didn't we, of like the goalie would take a short one, it'd go to the and then the player knew he had someone on his back, would run into the box and get the ball.
You press resistant players, then that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah. But so the rules.
interesting.
So there's new rules, and obviously with the thing of VAR, it has changed a couple of things. We've seen there was a penalty the other night that it was literally kicked onto someone's arm. I think that one.
Yeah, it was one of the Champions League finals.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's a bit of a sell point. No, I think that needs to be knocked on the head straight away. That one
But
because.
it's interpretation of handball again. The rules need to be more clear. Like if
But the
you're
rules
pointing at
are,
some,
but literally the rules have been cleared up, haven't they?
bounce
If
off
it
someone's
hits your arm,
yeah,
If
yeah.
it
it's
hits
a
you on the
penalty.
arm,
It's a penalty.
it's a
That's
penalty.
too far, though.
No, I know it is.
I'm not arguing with you about it.
So it's going to have to be.
There's-
That one,
you're gonna
that
go back
one's
and
gonna
forth.
Have to be looked at, isn't it? Because I think.
Well, it's not black. It's black and white now.
Yeah.
If it hits your arm, it's a penalty. Forget about it.
But all you're going to do is smart players just be clipping the ball at someone's foot.
Well, if you're that good, then you deserve a pen.
Well, you're going to have to just defend with the arms behind your
Yeah,
back.
that's what you'll
Side,
get.
Thomas
have to
Tuchel
get-
makes them work with tennis balls in the land. You have to side
Yeah,
them
you'll have to
behind
do
you.
it behind your back.
No, but I think it's been good so far. I think it's definitely moved the game on massively. I think definitely in England. I think what's good about the game is, and I think we've seen this with England in the last 15 years, the English team has moved on from just being an also-ran to one of the best teams in the world. And I think it shows to all these other nations that if you have got a little bit of money, and obviously they train at St George's Park, and they have benefited from the men's game massively. So, and you've seen people like Phil Neville, who takes it really seriously. After the first game, he got to play it. This is another mad thing, right? So, you're not allowed to take your players back to the changing rooms, right? Because the manager's not allowed to go back into the changing room. He's got to do all his media first before he's allowed to go back, right?
So you can't look at things in the changes, so they can look at videos and all that.
So, no, this is after the game.
But
no,
why?
that's what, no,
So, because he's got to do his media.
no, that's what I mean. But so he can't go into. He's got to go straight to the media area.
He's got to do his media.
So it'll be none of this like Neil Warnock checking if that was a pen or not. He has to go straight to the media and react straight away.
I don't know if that's the reason, but he's got to fulfil his media stuff first, right?
Straight away.
He's not allowed to go back. So what this has meant is the managers have got the players on the pitch, and so Neville at the first game, he wasn't happy when they beat Scotland 2-1. He said they played terribly second half. They'd 2-0 up first half, 2-1 in the end. So he had the old fucking Phil Brown, Hull on the pitch,
Jimmy
giving
Bullard.
them shit.
Yeah.
The other night he told the cameraman to piss off because when they did it the first time, you could hear him swearing at the players. And the women were like, well, this is how it is. When he doesn't sugarcoat it for us. So so this is another mad rule now, that he's having to give them shit on the pitch because he's like, I'm not asked if this camera's about. I'm not waiting 15 minutes till I see you and you're got changed, and I'm telling you now. And we've seen it with a couple of teams in the World Cup where they're either getting their dressing down or they're getting praised, but it's happening on the pitch. It's dead weird.
That's mad.
It's proper weird because of this fucking FIFA rule that you can't go back to the changes because you've got to
It's
do
all
all
more.
your...
It's the money in it. The money influences the game so much. It's in every facet of it.
Absolutely.
One day you're going to get like after a goal, go straight to an advert. I'm guaranteeing it. That's what's going to happen.
But it
eventually.
has. I think so far it's been good. It'll be interesting as we get towards the end. There's loads of Yanks there, and
I think the quality is going to get really good towards the quarter semis
because the teams who are really good.
Yeah, they are really good.
The Dutch have got some brilliant players.
Germany are always good. Yeah.
So maybe you haven't watched it so far, but
I've
watched.
I keep tabs on it over the years as well. I know like Frank Kirby's a very good player for England, people like that. It is getting better though because the more you know more names now, you can probably name a couple like 4 or 5, 6
I always watch
inside.
America for Alex Morgan.
She's a good player.
But the England team,
Carly Lloyd's excellent as well.
The most annoying thing about the England team is it's full of players who played for Everton.
And Jill Scott's still in it.
She is, but a lot of players who played for Everton
years ago.
around 2010, 2009. Everton didn't have the money and still aren't pumping the money in. And they've lost so much talent, but the talent is there playing for England. So the likes of Alex Greenwood, who played for Everton, then went away, then played for Liverpool, and she's at United now.
Is Duggan in the squad?
Yeah, she was injured.
There's a lot of controversy, isn't he? Because he insisted she'd come, but she might be able to play till like the quarters.
She's a Barca now, isn't she? Yeah.
So,
You'd have to have it though, because he's worth taking, isn't he?
She's one of the best players, yeah.
So there's a lot of...
Keita Paris used to be at Everton, didn't she, as well?
There's a few.
I remember seeing an article not long ago about Everton. I think the cost for the women's team for the whole year would have been 800 grand. How much money's in football, how much money's we have TVs. 800 grand's not much to ask. And it'd be good for Everton as a club to obviously invest in the women's team. As even just as like, competitively and as an image thing, Manchester United finally have started they've finally started doing
years. They've all seen now that
because it's a growing thing. Support it.
Some seem to go through stage. Liverpool signed a load of players and then they sort of let them all go.
We did that, didn't we?
Market forces though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got City putting loads of money into it. Chelsea seem to be putting money into it. Arsenal have won the league this year, I think. It all...
In the NBA, it's sort of a mandatory thing that they own a WNBA team. Maybe they should sort of...
I think listen, Everton, Andy Spencer's there and he's a great fella, but he used to be a coach at Everton and just worked his way up, and just it happened that he ended up the job. Now they've got
Willie Kirk now,
who's come from United, who seems to know the whole.
He was at Bristol, wasn't he?
Everton seems to be taking
quite a good team. Yeah,
Everton seems to be taking a lot more of a more of a professional stance. But then it's players you bring in. I think they've already lost a few players this summer.
You will do every time they get good. City, Chelsea, all them teams will start picking them off. Man United are going to probably start picking loads of team players, players off from other teams. That's what happens though, doesn't it?
And then you've got the likes of like Leon, who win the Champions League.
Well, the best player in the world isn't even at the World Cup because she's in the paid. Is it paid? She's a dispute over image or something like that with FIFA. Ada Hedenberg.
Yeah, she wouldn't.
No,
didn't she? They didn't have like a disastrous qualifying the last time out, and she just fell out with them. And
she's fell out with them. There's a dispute with the RFA, maybe it is, but she's not. It'd be like Messi.
Yeah, Marta's on the bench.
There's Marta.
Suits, yeah.
But she's you get all these little stories out of it. Marta has refused a boot deal with any big company, and she's got personalised boots that have like logos for equality on them.
That's good.
So she could have made a fortune off a boot deal.
She plays for Orlando City.
So she's knocked it on the head to get her like and that it's good to see stuff like that. Men wouldn't do that.
No.
Let's be honest.
Man City, the girl at Man City just left there to go to Barcelona because she wanted to play with Marta. Can't remember what her name is. I think she's playing for England.
She plays up front, doesn't she?
She's gone to Orlando because she wants to play with Marta. Saying it was just an opportunity that I couldn't refuse to go and play with one of the best players in the world. So, interesting. There you go. Let us know in the comments if you've caught any of the Women's World Cup and any of the things Ped said. Did you find mad the fact that they have to give the team talk after the game and all of that kind of stuff?
They normally give team talks after the game.
Or do you think Tom Dwyer's going to make the World Cup team?
On the pitch, exactly. You know, and if you're an American...
And his wife is not at the World Cup because she's had a baby.
Yes, true.
There you go, Sydney. And if...
Full circle.
If you're an American, do you agree with the fact that the United States should join the Copa America, playing it instead of at the expense of the Gold Cup?
Which is shit.
Which is nonsense. And who's going to win the Copa America itself? Let us know in the comments section below. Big thanks to Andy for joining us on the Footy Show. Big thanks to Ped being our Women's World Cup correspondent and expert. There you go.
Just correspondence.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Anyway, see you later.